one word associated with internet privacy is the word cookie. So what is, or what are, web cookies? Well, cookies are simple pieces of data, plain text in nature, unable to perform any kind of operation by themselves. In particular, they're not spyware or viruses, despite the detection of certain types of cookie by many anti-spyware products. They are also not used for spamming or for creating those annoying pop-up pages. Most modern browsers allow users to decide whether to accept cookies or reject them. But rejection can make some websites unusable. And here particularly I'm thinking of certain websites will use cookies to track your purchases online in what's called a virtual shopping basket. So if you haven't got cookies enabled on your particular browser, you may not actually be able to select products and move on and purchase them. So what do cookies actually do? Well, before I answer that question, we just need to discuss one quick point. And that's that in general terms, cookies are actually split into two specific types of cookie. The first is named a first-party cookie, and this is from the domain you're actually normally surfing on at the time. For instance, if you're on google.com, Google itself can serve you up a cookie from google.com, and that would be considered a first-party cookie. But then there's also third-party cookies, and these from an external domain to the one you're actually surfing at the time. Again, you might be on google.com, but Google might be using an advertising company, and that advertising company in this example might be advertising-company.com, and they might be serving up banners or some kind of advert onto their web pages, and therefore using cookies to track that response and your viewing of those adverts. So that would be known as a third-party cookie. It's not from Google, but Google are using those cookies on their website. Now, actually Google don't use third-party cookies, but I'm just using this as an example here. So we need to be clear in this point that there are first-party cookies served from the domain that you're surfing on at the moment, and then the third-party cookies that are coming down from external domains, external websites, when you're currently surfing on a particular website. So let's take a look at some examples of the types of things that cookies can do on your computer. First of all, there's authentication. Sites like Yahoo can use cookies to recognize an authenticated user, that's somebody who's typed in their username and password, and so personalize the web pages of a site depending on the preferences you've already said you like. There's also preferences as well, and cookies can be used for allowing users to express preferences about a website. For example, Google's search engine allows users to choose how many results are to be shown for every query. And this choice is then maintained across all the sessions, all the times you're on Google, until the cookie is deleted. But in this particular example, you don't actually have to be signed in, authenticated as a user. There's also site tracking as well, and websites like Amazon can use cookies for tracking the path of a user while visiting the web pages of their particular sites. So you'll get things appearing on the left-hand side or at the bottom of the screen typically that say things like "you have viewed before," and then it will give some descriptions of the types of items you've been looking at. And then there's targeting adverts as well, and websites can use cookies to target adverts based on the type of pages you're looking at. For instance, you might be on some kind of a catalogue website, and if you're looking at a lot of golfing related products, then a website can actually target the adverts to you related to golfing purchases. So you can see this, by the way, isn't an exhaustive list. It's just looking at some of the common types of use of cookies. There are far more than this. So let's take a look now at where these cookies are actually stored and some of the things that you can do with them. Really, in that example, we're going to look at how you can actually delete these cookies off your system if you wish to. So let's take a look at where these cookies are stored and how we can actually delete them off our system. So first of all, we're going to come up to the Tools icon here on the command bar in the top right hand corner of the screen. We're then going to come down and we're going to select Internet Options. Okay, with Internet Options open, we can see that we're on the General tab, and we're going to come down to what's called the Browsing History section here. And you can see that it says delete temporary files, history, cookies, save passwords and web form information. So we're in the right area, and then we've got two buttons here, delete and settings. Well, we'll come to delete in a moment, but let's come to settings first, because what I want to show you is actually the cookies that are have made their way onto this browser. We're going to go to view files and just give it a moment. Okay, so it's been sorted by type of document. Now cookies are text documents, they'll show up as text documents. Remember, they're not actually fancy kind of programs or software or anything like that. They're just plain text data, and your Windows operating system will see that as a text document. And we can see here the word cookie is next to all these little documents here. So we know they're cookies. I mean, it doesn't get any more complicated than that. And we can see that there are cookies for PayPal, Live.com, MSN, Live, eBay Objects, eBay, DoubleClick, Amazon. Well, obviously we're all fairly familiar with Amazon and eBay. eBay Objects is a little permission cookie. So it's checking to see what kind of permissions are on your cookies here already. Has it already got a cookie there? And we've got DoubleClick here, and DoubleClick is a it's an advertising, for want of a better word, company really, and they provide adverts as you're surfing particular websites. So that would be known as a third-party cookie, and Amazon here would be, if DoubleClick was coming to Amazon when you're on that website, then Amazon would be the first-party cookie, and that would be the third-party cookie. We've also got, so yeah, there's no other really advertising cookies, PayPalHere.com, but they're also obviously serving up some other kind of cookie. Now you can open these up, so if we double click that one, see if we can make some sense of it. You will get a system warning like this. You can tick yes because it's only a cookie. And in fact, in terms of reading that, it's not really making much sense. So this probably a random string that's been created by PayPal at this address is probably using it to track me on that session while I'm on the PayPal.com website. I can't see any other reason for that particular cookie. So if we want to get rid of those cookies, you can individually come into temporary internet files and start deleting cookies. For instance, if I didn't want that particular PayPal one there, I can highlight it, come over to delete this item over here in the left hand side. Am I sure I want to delete that cookie? And yes. Okay, if you want to delete several cookies at a time, because you actually want to keep the Amazon one, because it contains your login information, but you don't want the rest of these cookies, you can just go ahead and select all the others. Then you could hit delete, and you'd only be left with this Amazon cookie left. Now I'm not going to do that in this example because I want to show you how we can delete cookies otherwise, but the method I'm about to show you next will delete all of them in one go. You can't save anything, so if you do want to self-manage your cookies, you can always come in and individually delete them, but it gets a bit cumbersome and tiresome doing it that way. But this is the method Internet Explorer 7 offers you. I'll just cancel that window there. So we're in browsing history and we come to delete. Now clicking this button won't delete anything at this point. Okay, so we can see there are individual components to do with our browsing history that we can delete, or hit the delete all button and it will delete all of these sections in one go. Well, we're just looking at cookies, so I'm going to say delete all cookies, and yes, I want to go ahead and do that. So if I now close that box there, come back to settings and view the folder again where the cookies are stored, you'll see now that there's no cookies there. So that's how in Internet Explorer 7 we can get rid of those cookies. or view and individually delete individual cookies, so that we can actually keep the ones we want. But as I say, doing it manually like that is very cumbersome and tiresome. So in this video we've covered what cookies are, typical types of uses of cookies, and why some websites use them, and then we've looked at where they're stored and how you can delete them.